your
Yeah.
property.
It doesn't even need to be.
Oh, that's a noise.
Okay.
Where is that?
Welcome to the November 6th council meeting. The district of Metchosin works to be increasingly mindful of its commitment to more inclusive governance with our neighbors. I'd like to acknowledge that our neighboring First Nation governments with whom we are committed to building stronger relationships, the Shiano First Nation territory and the Sook Nation. We've got an agenda before you. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as before you. Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Epp. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We don't have any presentations. We have some time for public participation. If anybody would like to speak, if you could tell me your name and your street, and you have 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's Johnny Carline, 151 Cliff Drive, but I'm here as a news reporter to make a request. I'll say right off the bat that the request is a friendly request. It's not a trip request or a trap request. And I don't necessarily expect an answer tonight. It's a request to respond to me sometime during this week. And it's about the recent reports of the provincial legislature tabling legislation affecting housing zoning throughout the province. I've had a look at the government publications on this, or the things they put on the internet, but the media reports have generally got the high points pretty well. And in essence, this basically, and I'm looking at it from a Metchosin lens, it basically says for a community over 5,000, which Metchosin is, any lot which is currently zoned for single family or single family plus duplex or single family plus suite must be upzoned by May 2024, I think the date is, to accommodate at least 3 and sometimes 4 units per lot, depending on the size of the lot. And I haven't yet found what the size, critical size is, but 3 or 4 units per lot. 6 if you're close to rapidly used transit, but I don't think that applies here. It also says you've got to review and amend your OCP to build in housing targets for the next 20 years, not just 5. And then any application for a rezoning for residential development that is consistent with that OCP would not need to go to public hearing. One final thing I think that I didn't think was relevant to begin with, but I think might be, is they seem to be taking the practice of negotiating amenity provisions in exchange for upzoning and either severely curtailing that or getting rid of it entirely. I have to tell you personally that I'm not that sad about it. I've never been in favour of that, but it has been a major source of revenue for municipalities since the late 1980s, as we've got more and more into that. And I suddenly thought about the amenity zoning we have got, and the Beckingham Road case, where a past member of council said, in their opinion, that this was the only way, what council was trying to do in that case, was the only way we were going to be able to get large-scale provision of water throughout Metchosin. And it looks like the province may be taking that approach off the table. That they have said they will possibly fund or help with utilities, but they've also said that the housing must come first. And by that I think they mean you've got to do the upzoning and the OCP amendments first. So what I'd like to know from members of council, if you would be so willing, is to let me know, are you generally in favour of the direction the province is going in terms of taking municipalities off the hot plate and addressing the housing crisis by taking the brunt of whatever reaction there will be to this? Or are you generally opposed to it in terms of the possible impact on the rural nature of Metchosin and any impact it might have on utilities and the question of usurping municipal authority? So if you let me know how you stand, I'm sure our community and our readers are going to be really interested in this. As just mentioned to the Mayor, I think it's the biggest intervention by the province I can recall since the days of Bill Bennett. And so I don't think this issue is going away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Shuka, did you want to address some of this?
Thank you, Mayor Little. If I could, thank you very much, Mr. Carline. There is a lot in the legislation that has come out from the province. They are doing what they said they would do, but in terms of how they're going to do it, there's still a lot of complexities to figure out. One of the questions I have is 10 municipalities were identified for the changes that would come, but is that still on the table? Are those 10 going to be the focus? Because what the legislation that was introduced seems really broad. Now, it may be amended by regulation and just to focus on those 10. But before you, I just need to, but in terms of the big impact to Metchosin with the small scale multi-family homes, triplexes, fourplexes, even sixplexes if you're close to transit, I just want to point out one thing, and this is in Bill 44, which has just gone through first reading. And there is a provision within there that should see Metchosin exempted from the strictures that you must rezone to allow for those small-scale multi-units. And it comes in section 481.4, which states that the previous section does not apply to land that is not connected to a water or sewer system provided as a service by a municipality or regional district. So you need to be connected to a water system or a sewer system that is provided to a municipality for the small scale unit rezoning strictures to apply. Now, the previous section says that districts, local governments are required to build in the prescribed number of housing units within a restricted zone. And that restricted zones are those zones that are specifically targeted towards single family units. And again, that the section below it is exemptions, and we should be exempt if I'm reading that correctly. I maybe should turn to staff for that. So, or staff for more input, but that's what I'm seeing. So,
Go ahead, John.
My understanding is, in terms of the municipalities previously identified, that this latest initiative supersedes that. And they seem to say, they appear to be saying this applies to all municipalities over 5,000. Well, certain provisions apply to all municipalities, but the ones I were talking about apply to municipalities over 5,000 population. And so that would include Metchosin, who would be off the table. As for utilities, I agree that there is still lack of clarity here. On the one hand, they look as if they're exempting if you don't have any services. On the other hand, the minister has said the province will help because lots of mayors are saying our services can't take that. Lots of mayors have been saying we don't have adequate utilities to accommodate this upzoning, and the minister was saying, okay, we'll help, but you've got to go ahead with the upzoning or not. The only way I can square that circle at the moment, and I don't take this as a definitive answer, I'm just speculating, is that what they're saying is if you don't have adequate utilities, in other words, your pipes are too small, you're still on the hook. If you have no utilities at all, so people who are on wells and on septic, then maybe they will be exempt. But it's still not clear to me how they seem to be going in two directions at once.
Have you actually had a look at 481.4-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, it seems pretty clear.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I'm just trying to square it with the minister's statement that you can't. I think, to quote him, you can't use the utilities as an excuse not to do this. But I think, as I say, the only way I can make those compatible is what he's saying is if your utilities aren't big enough, then we'll help you expand them. But if you're not on the grid at all, then then that exemption applies. And that, you can see how that might make sense, that they wouldn't be wanting to apply this to things that just don't have any water or sewer at all.
Yeah.
So I think that exemption may apply.
And sorry, really quickly, this is the exemption related to zoning, but it doesn't remove, as far as I can see, the OCP, the public hearing aspect of it, the need for more strict housing needs requirements, so the housing need report requirements. So yeah.
And it does appear they're looking for small scale housing. The thrust of it is that they're not looking for more condos. They're looking for townhouses, small houses, multiple use houses, that kind of thing. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak at public participation?
Patty Whitehouse, up from Sedon Road. That was a long time ago. Rocky Point Road. And the reason I said Fenelon Sedon Road was because I was thinking back to it was a trigger for when I lived in the Highlands. I hadn't heard about the proposal to remove the amenity rezoning. And just want to say that it's not particularly relevant. I'm just giving an opinion that I'm very much in favor of the amenity rezoning as it has been used in some places such as the Highlands. Galantog Park was the very first use of the amenity rezoning provision. So it can be used very constructively and to the benefit of a much broader community. Just a point.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else wish to speak at public participation? Okay, thank you. Let's move on in our agenda there. On page 5, we have minutes from the meeting of October 23rd to be adopted. What do you say?
So moved.
Moved by Council Donaldson, seconded by Council Epp. Comment?
Thank you. I just wonder, there was some mention under 10D at our last meeting that I guess Councillor Schuppen might take a look at the Mining Act. And I don't get a motion to that effect, but it's an important thing not to miss. That it was an intervention by a resident, Bev Bacon, about the deleterious effect of the Mining Act in some situations. So just to flag that. I don't know if we need a change in the minutes particularly. But it wasn't caught in the discussion part of the group.
Okay. Anything else? No? If not, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. We have a Rise report from our in-camera meeting. The following appointments were made during this evening's in-camera meeting. For the Agriculture Advisory Select Committee, Council has appointed Alex Fletcher, Brent Donaldson, and Robin Tunnicliffe. For the Healthy Communities Advisory Select Committee, Council has appointed Peter Havers, Shannon Carman, and Chris Pratt. For the Parks and Trails Advisory Select Committee, Council has appointed Jim Nan, Gord Stadola, and Karen Hoffman. Okay. And regarding this meeting, it's been a year. This is our first year of our 4-year mandate, and it's been a year of firsts. We've begun to put an emphasis on planning for the future for our vibrant municipality. For the first time ever, the District of Metchosin has instituted strategic planning into their deliberations and have endorsed an ambitious 4-year strategic plan. The focus on the strategic plan is sustainability in 4 areas: economic, social, environmental, and governance. Another first is a commitment to agriculture in Metchosin, with the council committing $40,000 for a consultant to prepare an agricultural plan. A consultant has been hired, and we will soon be reviewing the first ever agricultural plan for Metchosin. Similarly, we're moving forward with plans to rebuild the fire hall. We have received $10,000 grant, which will contribute to the fire hall feasibility study. This is long overdue, and we are moving forward with considering new options for the fire hall rebuild. The climate action plan that was initiated in the last term has now been written and accepted by council. This is the first time Metchosin has a concrete plan that seeks to establish climate action goals for the community and identify specific opportunities to further local efforts towards reducing community greenhouse gas emissions and enhancing resilience. This council has committed to public safety and safe passage, as is evidenced by the placement of the new crosswalk and crossing guards at Hans Helgeson Elementary School. A crosswalk at this location has been discussed for the last 2 decades, and finally this council has committed to making the crosswalk a reality. We look forward to a local active transportation plan. For the first time, this council has made a commitment to authentic public engagement. Once a month, the community is invited to have tea with the mayor. It's an opportunity to informally meet with the mayor and the acting mayor in a group setting. The public engagement on the future of the bufferlands is almost complete. The bufferlands working group met numerous times over the past 6 months and has formalized some options for council to consider. For the first time ever, we've raised the pride flag in Metchosin. This says a lot about the openness and inclusivity of our community. This council is committed to updating and revising our existing bylaws, and we're pursuing a strategic bylaw review. We are committed to complying with provincial legislation, such as instituting the Respectful Workplace Policy, which establishes practices and procedures to promote an environment of mutual respect and safety for all. It fosters an environment that values diversity, clearly communicates expectations around behavior, promotes employee health and safety, provides resources and training to resolve disputes, and has open channels of communication. As a community of over 5,000 citizens, for the first time, we're now, unfortunately, responsible for 70% of our policing costs, and we have good relations and communications with our service providers. This council is committed to openness, transparency, and good governance, and it is reflected in our commitment to open debate, even if the topics are awkward and difficult. I commit to you, the community, and to the board that we are only holding closed in-camera meetings for reasons stated in Section 90 of the Community Charter. For the first time, we have good communication and relationships with our neighbors, our neighboring councils and municipalities. We have open dialogue and mutual respect with our MLA, Honourable Mitzi Dean, and our Member of Parliament, Randall Garrison. We have articulated our expression of gratitude to our volunteers in the community by hosting a volunteer appreciation night. This year, a concert was held in August to recognize the enormous efforts of our volunteers. This tradition will continue next year with 2 outdoor summer concerts of appreciation. It has been a year of hard work and a year of firsts. We're 25% way through our mandate. We'll continue with our strategic plan to set a resilient course for Metchosin's future. And that's it for my mayor's report for this 365-day report. Okay.
Mary Lou?
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you very much, and that was a great summary of the year. I think we've done a fair bit, so thank you for your leadership.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to say anything?
I agree. It's a year of learning, and I think the public engagement has been quite exciting. And I think probably all of our portfolios, different things that we've done for the ones that you've listed as well. Yeah, it's been really thrilling. I'm looking forward to the second year.
Okay, good. So let's move on to business arising, reports for action. So on page 15, we have the appointment of KPMG, the auditor. Oops.
There's no page.
Sorry?
There's no page number.
Actually, I have,
It's just a formality to appoint KPMG, there's no report.
okay. So there's no report. Every year at this time, we appoint KPMG as our auditors. This time it'll be for 2024. Could I have a motion that council appoint KPMG?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Epp. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, we have a staff report, council member appointments for 2024. This is on page 15. This is from Ms. Hanson. I think what we'll do is we'll just go through the council appointments, if that's okay. So I'll read them out. Public hearing, Chair, Councillor Shukin, 1-year term. Tamaki Treaty Advisory Committee, 1-year term, Mayor Little. Metchosin Arts and Cultural Association, 3-year term, Councillor Shukin. Capital Regional Board Commissions and Committees, Capital Region Emergency Services Telecommunications Board, Crest, Councillor Epp, 1-year term. Capital Region Invasive Species Partnership, Chris, Councillor Gray, 1-year term. Capital Region Invasive Species Partnership, Chris, alternate, Councillor Shukin, 1-year term. Council members to other committees and boards, the Great Victoria Public Library Board, Councillor Donaldson, 1-year term. Greater Victoria Labour Relations Association Board Director, Mayor Little, 1-year term. Greater Victoria Labour Relations Association Board Director Alternative, Councillor Shukin, 1-year term. Greater Victoria Labour Relations Association Delegate to the AGM, Mayor Little, 1-year term. So with this, we'll take a motion to accept these council appointments.
Or to approve them. Yeah.
To approve them? Okay. So moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. Any comments or questions? Councillor Gray.
Thank you, Mayor Little. I'm just wondering, the Metchosin Arts and Cultural Association, is that a liaison position or a membership position?
That's a liaison position.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then Councillor Shukin and I mean, I've been on the CRISP for the last year, and I've been sharing the emails that go out that we get about the different invasive species and things that are going on there. But I hadn't thought of it, but you'd be welcome to join any of the meetings that happen as well. They're mostly educational from my perspective, but also the strategies come out there.
Great.
I haven't been away at all, but if there's anything else that you'd like from the committee, I'd be happy to share it.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, seeing there's no other comments, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, on page 17, alternate member or alternate municipal director appointments. At the November 2022 special in-camera meeting, council made the following resolution to appoint Councillor Gray as the alternate director to the CRD, Capital Region Hospital Board, and the Capital Region Housing Corporation for a 4-year term. All resolutions related to council appointments were subsequently released to the public through a riser report. At the next meeting, Mayor Little advised that to ensure an equal opportunity for councillors to receive experience at the CRD board level, it was her intent to have the alternate director appointed rotate between the councillors for a 1-year term. It was agreed that during discussions that the alternate director appointment would be brought forward for consideration at the end of 2023. So section 144 of the community charter states that we have the authority to rescind an appointment under section 144. Should council wish to appoint different council members to the alternate director, council should rescind the November 8th, 2020 resolution appointing Councillor Gray as the CRD alternate director for a 4-year term and then appoint someone new. So we have some options here. What say you? Okay, so this was to give everybody the opportunity to have the correspondence from the CRD, to possibly sit at the CRD table when I'm not able to. Councillor Donaldson?
Mayor Little, are you suggesting that this will be rotated amongst the four of us over the next, or I guess the remaining three for the next 3 years?
Yeah. For instance, so this year, one of you, Councillor Eck perhaps, then Councillor Donaldson, Councillor Shukin, so everybody gets 1 year. Councillor Shukin?
Thanks, Mayor Little. Not to take anything away from Councillor Gray, I think it would be a great opportunity for all of us to rotate, and I believe that would be in the spirit of the rotation schedule that you've effectively introduced with the deputy mayor process. And I know that started during the last year or two with council, probably the last year of the previous council, but that has been a foundation right from the beginning. So I would be supportive of having it rotate.
Okay. Do you want to make that recommendation? It would be number 1.
I wouldn't mind hearing from my colleagues,
Okay.
but what their views were, but I'm prepared to make it. I will make this though, but I have to acknowledge that I can't serve in that role personally in the next 12 months. It would have to be at some future time, but I would very much welcome the ability to do it.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I would move option 1. Sorry, I don't mean to this sound harsh, but the council rescind the November 8th, 2022 resolution appointing Councillor Gray as alternative member director to the CRD board, hospital board, and CRD Housing Corporation. And that council appoint a different councillor as an alternative municipal director to the CRD board for a 1-year term.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. Discussion? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm glad we're having this discussion in an open meeting. The last time this happened was in a closed meeting and not following the community charter. It's good that, I think it's important that we understand that the suggestion has come from yourself, Mayor Little, and it's a decision of council, not a decision of your own. So the CRD appointments are 4 years, and the reason that they're 4 years, my understanding is, and the alternates, it's for consistency at the table, to build relationships and awareness, and as basically a foundation of effective governance. As the alternate, I attended 12 hours of multiple sessions, 12 hours of orientation, and a 3-hour workshop following that, so a total of 15 hours of orientation to take the role. And I think that's a significant investment on the CRD's part. I've been an alternate director for a year now. I've had no invitation from the mayor to attend a single meeting. So in fact, I've not really had any experience to speak of or to share. The idea of rotating for equal opportunity, I suppose, would be more like if we rotated the position of the member at the table. And that's to say the mayor's position. Not necessarily the mayor that attends the CRD, of course. So if one wanted to actually give people different experiences, that would be the position to play with rather than the alternate who doesn't have much of a role if nobody's away. But I think from my perspective, more important than that kind of a move is simply that it's not about my personal development or somebody else, it's about good representation for our community. And I think that the idea of the orientations and building relationships, the best representation for our communities if we have consistent people there. So I do support the mayor staying on for the full 4 years. But I'll vote against the idea of changing the positions up and rotating them because I think that fails on the idea of governance.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? Some other communities, I didn't know this until I was on the board, actually have behind, as an alternate, they have 3 or 4 members. So we could have done that as well. It's just I didn't know that that was an option when this was brought forward before. Anybody else wish to speak to that? Go ahead.
I like the idea of it being rotated, and I think this is probably a learning year for yourself, knowing just how how much you were actually required to be at these different meetings. So maybe the alternate would get more action, as it were, at the table, which definitely would lend itself to that rotation of some experiences and that sort of thing.
Go ahead.
I think Councillor Gray has put in the time, as he's mentioning, with the orientation and to follow what's going on. So I think that in this particular term, anyway, we should leave it as it is.
Okay, well, seeing no other comments, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Gray, Councillor Epp opposed. Okay, so then the other thing was who would like to be that person? Councillor Shukin, you said you can't do it for a year. Anybody else wish to have it for this coming year?
I would prefer not this coming year, but the next year perhaps.
Okay. Councillor Epp,
I have a lot on my
do you want?
agenda, it seems.
Okay, Councillor Epp, can you squeeze it into your time?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so Councillor Epp, next year Councillor Donaldson, then Councillor Shukin. Okay, so perhaps we should have a motion to that effect. Motion that Councillor Epp, followed by Councillor Donaldson, followed by Councillor Shukin. Okay,
So moved.
moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Opposed? Opposed by Councillor Gray. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the staff report, regular council meeting schedule. So this is our council schedules that we do every year at this time. This is the 2024. I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2024 schedule of regular council and standing committee meetings.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Shukin. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. The acting mayor schedule for 2024. So pursuant to section 130 of the community charter, the council procedure bylaw 507, we must provide a designation of a councillor as a member responsible for acting in place of the mayor when the mayor is absent or otherwise unable to act. The months are listed here. It's rotating. I'm hoping that works for everybody. And it's not exactly the same as last year. So Councillor Donaldson?
Are you looking for a motion or
Yeah, I'm
a
looking
matter
for-
of discussion?
Yeah, a motion would be
So
great.
I'll make a motion.
This is to adopt the acting mayor schedule by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Shukin. Comments?
I would like to make one slight change,
Mhm.
and I've already asked Councillor Schumann if it was okay with him, just to switch from the September, October with the November, December,
Okay,
please.
Okay.
If that's okay.
that okay? That's fine. Any objections to that? Seeing none? Anything else? Go ahead.
I realize we have this resolution here that we're setting up, but I think it would be sensible for us to make changes as Councillor Donaldson has just made as the year goes by, and I guess we bring it back to council for that if somebody fills in for a couple of days.
I'm not understanding. So you object to the moving of Councillor Shukin and Donaldson?
No, I'm suggesting that, let's say, for example, those two people have switched, so Councillor Donaldson is now to be the deputy mayor from September and October 2024, but she needs to be away for a weekend. So I'm just saying, how does that arrange so that she can switch up with somebody, call somebody and say, how about you taking over the weekend for me because I'm going to be away? I'm asking, does that require resolution of council?
No. I think
Thank
we
you.
can do that informally, just as long as you let the mayor and the deputy corporate officer know.
Thank you.
Okay,
Now, I guess I might just also mention that I'm the acting mayor this month, and so the mayor's tea is next Tuesday, November 14th, 2 to 4 p.m. Come one, come all.
okay. On this, on the acting mayor schedule, so we've got a resolution on the floor. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, there's feedback from the speaker. I don't know if anybody else can hear it.
Yeah.
Listening pretty good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you want to unplug that one?
Don't know if we can. Oh.
There's a clip here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, we'll see if that
Yeah.
fixes it. On page 27 of your agenda package, we have a staff report on the 2023 municipal holiday closure. So it's proposed that the municipality buildings be closed on December 22nd through to January 1st. Okay?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Epp. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have a staff report on the BC Active Transportation Infrastructure Grants. Ms. Panofsky, did you want to introduce this, or should I ask Councillor Epp to do this?
Sure, Councilman Up can add more additional information, but just on the point on the report that, it's okay, I'm loud, you don't need to plug it in. On the draft report that was done by Urban Systems, it was done at no charge for the municipality. So it's just to assist us with the grant application, as Councillor Epp has alluded earlier. So,
Okay. Councillor Epp, did you want to add anything to this?
Sure, the grant comes out, I'm not sure how many years, but it's been a while, and it's the Active Transportation Infrastructure Grant Program. And in that program, there are two grants that come out every year. One is actually for infrastructure, which we did try to apply for that in the last term, and we didn't get it, which is one of the main reasons, which we learned about this too, is that for any major grants, you really have to have a professional plan in place for these to actually get these grants. So the other part of this program is a network planning grant, and that is a 50-50 fund. And so that's, we talked about this as a council quite a few months ago, and then Councillor Shukin and I met with a couple from Urban Systems. That's when they mentioned that they would give us a hand when we wanted to apply for this. So anyway, I did notice the intake, but never got around to thinking that the intake was, the deadline would be quite a while away. I looked it up 2 weeks ago to find out the deadline was October 27th. So anyway, it was quite a mad scramble, and I did contact Urban Systems, and they very nicely got this draft plan of what a real plan would look like for us, which was great. To have this plan, if we get this plan done, then next year when the intake comes around for the grant program, then we can apply for that. SUC got last year, through that infrastructure fund, they got $1 million, two $500 amounts for different projects they had going on. That's the kind of money that's out there. So when we have this plan in place, that gives us the opportunity to apply for this. So seeing as how the deadline loomed, I didn't have time to bring it to a council meeting, so I just filled it in as best I could, and then of course went to Chief Dunlop to help out in the end there, to tweak it and to finish it off when I got stuck. So anyway, that's why this is coming now, as the grant has been sent in, and so in a little bit of a backwards way, I'm looking for a recommendation. So recommendation is that council support, and I move this BC Active Transportation Infrastructure Grant application that would provide 50/50 matching funds for the development of an active transportation network plan for the district of Metchosin.
Okay, this is moved by Councillor Epp, seconded by Councillor Schuker.
I would second only for discussion.
For discussion, go ahead.
Councillor Webb, thank you very much for your work on this, and yeah, bravo for getting it in. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Councillor Johnson?
So it's a 50/50, and so do we know how much money that is? Like you say, it's $1 million, but it's up to that?
The network planning grant is, and you see in the draft plan that they gave us, that it would cost about $75,000. So Metchosin's part would be about $37.50. And I was talking to one of the grant people. She also mentioned that it might be possible to get the other 50% from things like the Climate Action Fund, that there are other areas. So basically, once we have the network plan, which we hopefully will get some money for, then next year we can apply for the big money for, say, a cycling lane on Metchosin Road, or any other type of plan that we might be able to come up with.
Okay. Councillor Gregg?
I'm going to speak in support of this grant application. We'll have to put the money in the budget, $37,500. But I think developing an active transportation plan is a good idea, and it's part of our strategic plan, which we've already approved. So well done, thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, with that, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Thanks very much for putting this up. Okay, on page 77, we have the District of Metchosin Public Communications Report. I'll receive this for information.
I move receipt.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we've got the two communication reports. Then this is followed by the Metchosin Building Inspection Department, the September and October reports, permit revenues to date. Any comments? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to receive. Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Epp. Comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we've got correspondence here. The first one on page 85 is the advocacy letter from the District of Souk regarding tanker traffic in the Strait of Juan de Fuca. So they do mention Metchosin in here, that they support our motion. This is just for our information, so it's good that our neighboring communities are also aware and also concerned about the tanker traffic in the strait. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Mayor Little. This is an exciting letter to receive, and it follows on the response that we provided to the Minister with regards to the health impacts. You recall that letter drafted in large measure by Dr. Valerie Jager, and came through the MEAS committee. So we brought had a discussion. We didn't have this letter at the time, I don't think, but we had the newspaper reports about Souk's. Two councillors in Souk were talking up their excitement about what we had done and their support for it, and the longer history that Souk has about the tanker traffic. And so at the moment, we were thinking about putting together something else to raise the profile of it, and so MEAS is working on some press materials. And we'll bring those forward to the Mayor and Council at a future date.
Okay, great. Councillor Schuken.
Thank you. One quick question. Did we not write a letter to the federal minister responsible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, we did. The one thing that we didn't do, that's very same night, we asked the province to ask Transport Canada to limit tanker traffic when the spill response teams couldn't go out. But you might recall our drafted letter to the federal minister had the same paragraph in it, but council decided, contrary to the advice by MEASC, to strike that paragraph. So instead, we wrote a letter that laid out the same materials we'd earlier provided a different spill response letter to Minister Heyman. But instead of having that paragraph about, you should limit the traffic in these difficult times, difficult adverse sea conditions, our letter instead said, what plans do you have for when there's adverse sea conditions?
Gotcha. Okay.
And of course, I think we know there are no plans.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so could I get a motion to receive these for information?
I move that we receive these for information.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Schuster. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a letter on page 87 from the Honourable Mitzi Dean regarding Adoption Awareness Month. She wants us to know about this month and to thank families who are adopting children into their home, to thank them, and also to let us know that there's many children that still need permanent homes. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to receive.
I will receive.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a letter here from Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General and Deputy Premier Mike Farnworth. This is a letter to the town of Sydney regarding dispatch costs and equity across BC municipalities for 911 dispatch services. Does anybody have any comments? Councillor Gray? Councillor Gray, go ahead.
Yes, I wonder if we might request the outgoing letter from Andrew Hick, Director of Finance at the town of Sydney, so we could understand this a little bit better. It sounds like there are issues around, as he describes, or as Minister Farnworth is saying, dispatch costs and equity. I would like to learn more about that. I think it might be a good idea for us to know more.
Okay, we'll ask for the letter. Councillor Epp, do you know anything about that? No? Okay. Okay, so move receipt of this letter and we'll ask for more. So moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Schukin. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. And then we have another letter from Mayor Brenda Locke regarding the ongoing dispute with the province regarding policing providers for the city of Surrey. And that's there. And then lastly, could I have a motion to receive that for information? Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Epp. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have a notice from the Association of Vancouver Island Coastal Communities, the executive regarding their resolutions notices. So the resolutions to AVIC have to come by February 7th. 2024. So if we wish to have any resolutions put forward, that would be the time. It'd be great if some of you could reach out to your neighboring councillors in other communities to see what their hot button issues are and to see if we can align. Councillor Gray?
Yeah, in that vein, I would like to reach out to the councillors in Souk and see if we can prepare a joint resolution to AVIC on the tanker traffic issue, which we've just received correspondence from Souk on. And my other suggestion would be, I think we heard at our last meeting, the Mining Act, that question, whether or not there's something good for AVIC on that front.
I wonder if does anybody have any connections with any of the North Saanich councillors? No? Do you?
I've only met two of them now.
Okay.
But not close to.
Okay. Councillor Schuster.
Thanks, Mayor Little. Just on another issue, I had a chance to connect very briefly with a number of councillors at UBCM who were also concerned with groundwater. And so I am going to try and connect with them, that group. Some had really advanced systems and had done a lot of work in terms of mapping aquifers. And I know that Highlands has as well. So I'm going to try and connect with them and see if there's something that we can do collectively through AVICC and potentially also UBCM as well. So that might be something coming in the next while. So.
Regarding comments or putting forward a resolution for tanker traffic, the only thing is we've had our resolution passed unanimously at the conference. We have to let UBCM executive move that along in the process. And I'm wondering if it's going to be a lesson in futility if we add one more very similar resolution to ABICC. Councillor Gray.
Sure, I'll take that into consideration as I'm having some discussions that you suggested.
Yeah, if it could be slightly tweaked or not the exact same resolution, that would be good. Yeah. Okay, so motion to receive the ABICC communication. Moved by, thank you. Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor. Yep. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. And we have bylaws. The Animal Control Bylaw 2023, number 62. At the October 23rd, 2023 regular meeting, Council gave first, second, and third reading to the Animal Control Bylaw 2023-692 to provide for the control and protection of animals and for the licensing of dogs in Metchosin, in the district of Metchosin. It's now in order for Council to consider adoption of the bylaw. So the options are there. Councillor Donaldson.
I move that Council adopt Animal Control Bylaw 2023, number 692.
Moved by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Epp. Discussion. Councillor Schuper.
Thanks, Mayor Little. I just want to say I wish to speak in favor of adopting this bylaw. Again, we've said many times, but it bears repeating. Great work by the Dogs and Chosen Working Group, and to Ms. Whitehouse and to our council liaison. And again, I think the description of dog under control is brilliant, and I've actually had recently some examples of both the perfect example of a dog under control and an ongoing example of the dogs not under control.
Okay.
So this may be very helpful in the coming weeks. So
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, great. Well done. Anybody else? Go ahead, Councillor.
Yes, thanks also to the working group. I think this has been a long time coming, and it's a really worthwhile bylaw, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other comments, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. Okay, other business on page 131. We have a notice of motion from Councillor Gray. Two notice of motions that Council adopt a policy whereby the presiding committee or council chair will decide at their sole discretion the seating of the CAO at the council table, and that everyday management of the district of Metchosin website be the responsibility of the chief administrative officer or designated staff. This is a notice of motion by Councillor Gray to be considered at the November 20th council meeting. So I'll move receipt of this. Moved by...
Move receipt.
Move receipt by Councillor Donaldson, seconded by Councillor Epp. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. And then before we have question period, I just wanted to remind everybody that we have the Remember and Stay ceremony on November 11th. The march starts at the fire hall at 10:30. If you want a wreath, contact Councillor Shelley Donaldson. And with that, it is before 9:30, even with the daylight savings, so we can take questions. Councillor Gray, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, just as regards Remembrance Day, just to say as Acting Mayor, I'll be in Langford at the Remembrance Ceremony that representing Metchosin.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing that. And question period.
So my question is, may I say how pleased I am with the results of the reorganization of the table, because you are all far more audible than you were before. I don't know why, whether it's the acoustics of the room, but I could hear you most of the time all very clearly and with much more volume. So I appreciate it. So that's my question. May I do that?
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Not so much question, just thanks for putting in a year, and I really appreciate some of the initiatives you guys put in last year, especially the invasive species, furry invasive species problem. As a farmer, that was actually a crucial element to my success, and I'm sure the success of many others in our neighborhood. And so thanks for taking the initiative, and thanks for doing what you guys are doing. It's great, thanks.
Okay, Councillor Donaldson.
I'd just like to ask Mr. White, can you please keep us updated as to your experiences with those invasive species?
Oh, for sure,
that
yeah.
you're dealing with? Thank you.
Yeah, it put such a dent in them that now the wild other creatures are managing to keep them in check. And I'm thinking that's just one of the biggest positive advantages of what happened, is the balance and kind of what we're supposed to be doing as farming and farming community.
Okay. The elephant in the room is rabbits. We were talking about rabbits, right?
Yes, the rabbit hole.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? Ask any questions? Okay, if not, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Shukin. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.